What's going on, Omnibuddies? Mitch here, and today we are doing an Omnibuddy overview of Brandon Thomas's, Khary Randolph's, and Emilio Lopez's Book 1 Deluxe Edition, Excellence. Alright, so before we get going, this was a Kickstarter book that I backed. I'm not even totally sure that it's widely available yet. Hopefully it comes soon because it is Image and they tend to go far and wide. So hopefully you're gonna be able to pick up this book very soon, if not already as of watching this video. This book, I was very excited to get. Very cool team put together. I've heard nothing but good stories, so when I got this on Kickstarter, I was really excited to finally receive it in the mail, sit down, crack it open, and see what all the fuss was about. So let's do that right now. All right, so here is Book 1, Excellence. This is by Brandon Thomas, Khary Randolph, and Emilio Lopez. Hopefully I got their names pronounced correctly, but that is kind of my thing, to mispronounce names, I think. So no one's ever said anything, but yeah, well, except for Red Sonja. I called Red Sonja, whatever. Anyways, we move on. This book's presentation is awesome. Look at this. It's got that gloss, high gloss, spot gloss on there for the character, and then it has it for the title, and then everything else is matte and oof, super colorful, super awesome. Here is the spine, and here is the back cover. Yeah, I believe I backed this, yeah, for 50 bucks USD on Kickstarter. So hopefully it comes to all the distributors far and wide for 50, especially with that sweet, sweet discount if you're using organic price books, and code Omnibuddy and all that. And the coolest thing about this is look at that. Look at those edges, just metallic foil edges, tipped edges, so cool, that crimson red. All right, so let's get into it. Let's open it up. And also, you know I'm a sucker for end sheets. These end papers, so cool. Love that when they do some cool stuff with it. And here's book 1. Here's all the creators and all that kind of good stuff. This was also by Skybound and helped publishing through Image and all that. And let me real quick mess with these lights a little bit. There we go. Kind of get them off the paper a little bit. But yeah. So this is a very cool book, by the way. It took me a little while to get into it, but dang was it cool. Once it got up and going, it's very like Harry Potter meets, man, I don't even know what it means, but it's very much like a wizard magic use school, or not school, but like society called the Aegis, and they're just kind of this underground secret organization, almost like a John Wick kind of a organization, where they're, you know, very formalized, very, very organized society and structures and all that kind of stuff. And you have all the different color codings for the different types of magic users and all that kind of thing. But it's kind of the story of a kid who's born, and they're supposed to, you know, at an early age kind of demonstrate their magic, and he's from one of the higher, longer bloodlines of magic, and he's not showing much promise or anything like that. And older friend, you know, protege is really showing promise, but his dad's kind of concentrating on him. And then it kind of jumps forward in time, jumps around a lot in time, and yeah, and he eventually learns how to use magic and all that kind of stuff, and he is pretty good. So he finally does, you know, start getting good with magic, and gets really good with magic, and he has to go through the trials on being approved to use magic, because this whole society has very strict, very stringent set of rules that you have to follow and what they're for. And I'm not going to go into all that because I don't want to give anything away. I hate doing that. I just want to give an overview, kind of a feel of the look and kind of feel of the book versus my overview and all that and giving away too much. But it is very cool. It has some really cool side stories and interesting character arcs and depth. I will say for the first half of this book, I did not like the main characters in this book. I actually liked the older, oh man, I'm forgetting his name, but I actually liked the kind of the main antagonist versus the protagonist. I thought he had a much more interesting storyline versus the protagonist, who just kind of seemed like I mean, he's younger. He's like, starts at like 14, 15, 16, so he's younger. I think the book ends when he's like 18 or 19. And, you know, so they're doing some foolish young things. And, as an older adult, more mature, I guess, it's a little bit harder to relate to that, even though I know that that's kind of how it is. But it's like, dude, chill. Like, your dad most obviously loves you and wants the best for you, but you can't obviously see that because you feel so wronged and slighted and the world is against you. But it definitely kind of gets past that and gets to be much cooler. And once the story kind of gets going and you kind of get over all this emotional teen drama arc, then it gets really good and really cool. And even they jump back and forth in time and all that, and it is just super cool. I am a sucker. Like, I love black and white books, but I am a sucker for, if they're going to use color, to use really vibrant, deep, cool colors that just pop off the page. And this book does that in spades. It's awesome. Absolutely love it. Some very cool side characters. Interesting things that they do with magic and how magic works, how wands work and how approved magic and spells and sexism and racism. This is, I believe it's all black creators that made this book, and it is very heavily into, I mean, there's very few cultures outside of black culture in this book. So I thought it was very cool seeing that sides of things, because really we don't see much of that anymore. I like that we're seeing it more, and this book was very cool demonstration of how all these creators can come together and make something really cool. Also, really nice ribbon. Dig it that it's not just red or white or something like that. Red would have worked on this book, but a lot of them just slap a ribbon in there and don't really think about the color. So I appreciate that. Anyways, just the rules behind magic, how it's governed, how, you know, what kind of wands you're allowed to use, homemade versus, you know, official, and the reading of spells casted by wands and all that, and getting kind of grilled by the magic police on if you're what you've been doing and been up to and what you're charged with and what you're supposed to be doing with magic. Very cool stuff. And then what is cool is at the book doesn't necessarily like just end. It is book one, and it does kind of give you a cliffhanger. So there is definitely a book two coming, at least story wise. But what is really cool is after it finishes, I jumped past, I think, kind of jumps far into the future and explores what happens way into the future. And it is really cool. And they're comparing, old, but they're, not even happened in our time yet, magic users and who is the best, and out of all of them, and no, this guy's the best, no, this guy's the best, this girl's the best. Really cool stuff. Really fun bonus story. I believe that was from the Kickstarter, hit a tier, and we got to get a little extra story on there. And there is, you're looking at, that's the story, and that is extras, and there is a ton of extras in here, just from the scripting and inks, like a ton of it, which is really cool, to the original series pitch, which is awesome, and then tons of different cover stuff and character artwork, and not just the character artwork and process, but also just talks about it in depth too, all these different characters. Very cool. And then, yeah, we got lots of art process in here. Looks like some cover process. I haven't even been able to look through all this yet because I stayed up super late finishing it. And I was like, okay, I'm done. And I flipped through this a bit. I was like, oh, this is really cool. I'm going to have to come back to it. And I'm kind of coming back to it now. Really nice cover gallery. Man, these things are so nice. These covers are just so cool. Love it. Dang. This book's just got style. It's really cool. Man, look at that. Jeez. Anyways, and this got a special thanks in the back to people who kickstarted it. Or I don't even know if this is for people who no, this isn't people who kickstarted it. Just special thanks from the creators to certain people. Very cool. It's got BJ Kicks in here. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, I don't know what's wrong with you. Really cool online creator. Check out BJ Kicks YouTube. And then we got some bios and some awesome end sheets at the end. And that, as they say, is that. All right, so that was a quick overview of Excellence Deluxe Edition Book 1. Like I said, that art is killer. It is super cool. The story was different. It's kind of like a, what do I want to say, like a Black Panther meets Harry Potter meets, what's some kind of time travel-y, jumpy memory one? I don't, Memento, I don't, maybe, I don't know. But very cool feel, very cool. Just story, very interesting. Kind of wavered for me. It took a little bit for me to get going at the beginning, but once I really got into it, couldn't put it down. It was a very fun read. I'd highly recommend it. So if you can find it, make sure to pick it up, give it a try. This is, again, book 1, and I'm gonna have to read book 2 because it for sure doesn't conclude what's going on in the story arc, at least in book 1. So I cannot wait to pick up the second one, check it out, and see how this all wraps up. Hopefully volume 2 wraps it up, and then maybe they go into another arc or something like that. That would be awesome. We'll see what happens. Anyways, that's it for today. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, do all those things. But again, the most important thing to do is comment. Love talking with you all. What are you picking up on Kickstarter lately? I have had a ton of Kickstarters out. I actually had to cancel one, sadly, because I had to jump on a exclusive gold signature edition of an Usagi book, because if you know me, you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I gotta have all the Usagi limited edition books, and that one was expensive. So I had to cancel one, which was sad, but hopefully I will be able to pick it up after the Kickstarter's done or something like that. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you're doing backing. Is there anything on Indiegogo I've been missing? I know there's Kankor going on right now as of making this video. There's a lot of cool stuff happening, so let me know in the comments. Anyways, that's it. Take care. Stay safe.